Hello! Oh my God, I have the most magical woman here today. I like she's gonna tell you all about herself and like all the things that she's doing. And they're so amazing, it's so cool. But I need you guys to know that she is one of the most magical women that I've met. She makes me like want to be more magical. Like being around her, I feel hotter. Like if I've only met her once in person. So it's amazing. Like you just will find your women and your people across the world. And I found my girl Sophie French, and she's here with me today. She's in Bali. I'm here in Idaho, and we're connecting across the world to talk to you guys and to talk about poetry and being big and being brave. And I think you guys are gonna love her as much as I do. And I hope that you guys just soak this all in and just be big and take notes and rewatch this because she's so amazing. And yeah, we're just gonna get into it. So thank you for coming. Oh my God.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. And what a gorgeous introduction. I'm like gonna be crying already. I'm gonna keep it chill. Yeah, thank you so much.
Of course. Oh my God. So I obviously like I know about you. Tell us about you. Like what do you do? What are you doing in this world? What are you giving this world? Who are you? All the things.
Oh, yes. Okay. So my name is Sophie French, and I have come under a lot of different hats. I am very known for being a transformational healer and coach in the realm of the subconscious for women to really help them tap into themselves, their confidence, their creative expression, to bring what is on the inside of them out into the world. I am also a writer and a singer and host retreats and spaces. And yeah, really for women to come into their bodies and in their beings and like find themselves at a deep level. Like, who are they? Who do they want to be in the world? What are all the things they've never felt before? How do they alchemize that into their art or their expression or their work or in their relationships? And essentially, yeah, I romanticize and create art out of my life and all of my experiences and help other women to do the same so that they can live a beautiful, liberated, free life.
Oh, you're so yummy. I love you. Yes, like you guys, I swear, like when you find your people, and especially Sophie, like she is across the pond. Like we would have never been able to know each other without this membership that we're in for poetry and all the things. And like I swear, like she is doing such big things, but it took bravery to get here and heartbreak and transforming herself. And I feel like when you're in the thick of it, there's parts of you that have to die in order to do the big thing and have to detox and get rid of and to grow and transform. And I feel like for you, like when we met, it was like we almost went through a very similar parallel journey where you could see me, you could understand me, you could feel like the pain and the hurt and like the weight that I lifted off of me when we met. And it was so good to be seen as a woman and to have you like share like your magic? I remember we were in LA, you guys, and she wore this cheetah print dress and she's just waltzing around and I'm like, "Oh my God, like she's so hot." And then I'm like, "Oh my God, I am so hot." And we're just all so hot. And it was so magical and like you romanticize like the little things and it was just such a beautiful time to spend with you and I know that your clients and your community just love just your energy and your essence. And I love how you use your voice to create magic, whether it's like lifting other women up or like breaking them open, or through your poetry, which she wrote a book, you guys, and it's on Amazon. I'm gonna put it in the show notes. And I was reading this last night, you guys, at like midnight, and I'm like, oh my God, I love my girl. Like, she's so amazing. Like, you were so good. And you were brave enough to put it into a book. You were brave enough to speak it. You're brave enough to give it to the world. So, like, tell me, like, I know that every woman goes through this. I know that I still go through this too. Like, how do you get to that point where it's like, okay, I'm on this path and I have to choose to be brave, or I have to sit here and just wait for something to happen. And or like I can't move forward without doing that one big thing, that one brave thing.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Thank you, by the way. You're like the best hype woman. I'm gonna be beaming from this, even just sitting here. I'm like, oh my God, I'm just receiving all the goodness. Thank you, Dave. Um, yeah, being brave. I guess the key thing that comes to mind is that it just often involves doing the thing that you really don't want to do, that you're just like, I'm going to be sick, there's no way I could do this, I'm going to die if I do this. Annoyingly, that's probably the thing that is calling you the most. And if I think about this, like this sort of, yeah, my brave move, I guess, was leaving a long-term relationship, knowing in my heart and soul I needed to know, who am I as a woman in the world with myself? And I, for whatever reason, I couldn't do that inside of this relationship. I just knew, but everything in me was going, please no, please, we built this whole life, we've got everything, all the on paper, like I've done it, hello, I've hit all the things, but my soul was like, we gotta go.
Mhm.
um yeah, and that feeling inside that's like, not this, please, let it be, let me take another path. And I remember just like crying in the bath and being like, really? Really? This is mad. This doesn't make any logical sense. But yeah, then continuing to listen to that soul call that was just like, you've got to find out who you are in the world as you without being attached to anyone or anything. It's time to go and to grow.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes. Like
listening.
learning when it no longer serves you. And even though it looks good on paper, you still felt like I had to be small to stay in this, or it's like I'm almost in this cage where I can't like do my work if I stay with this person or do this thing or stay in this job or stay in this business I don't like, or like you outgrew it and like they can't come on this journey no matter how badly you want them to come. They don't have the skill set, they don't want to come, and it's like you're almost like dragging them to try to like bring them with, and it's like detaching from that person where you were supposed to spend your whole life with, and this idea in your head of like, wait a minute, I got what I wanted, I thought this is what I wanted, but there's so much bigger out there, and like you had more magic to give, and it can't be just with this one person. And I was just talking to Sophie before we started this podcast. I'm like, this, when we met, I was going through a breakup and I broke off a 10-year relationship where like on paper it looked good and we had this life plan out. It was like the same thing. And I was like, oh my God, she gets me. And today is a year since I broke up with him and did the brave thing where I felt like I was dying. I felt like I was like, well, this makes no sense. Like, I could keep trying. I could, be smaller. I could put up with this. Like, it's fine. And it's like it was killing my soul because I knew that I had to do something bigger. I knew that there was so much more for me. And I feel like since you killed that off and since we both killed it off, it's like now we can just like spread our magic everywhere and give it to so many more people because we don't have this like weight or this person that we did love, but they can't be on this next thing with us, you know?
Mhm. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's the piece of letting things die that need to die, trusting that this was exactly what needed to, bring us to a certain point, and then listening of like, okay, it's time to let go now and to make space for what's new. I
Mhm.
think that can be so hard when we want certainty and we want things to look a certain way, to actually be able to listen to that and be like, I need to make space for what's next, mostly from an inner perspective. Like this inner voice in me is calling to do something new and different and try a new life and a new path and choose a new timeline.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that. And like recreating and listening to your damn self. I remember like that little voice. I'm like, she's wrong. Like it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And now I'm like, oh my God, she was so right. Because look at what happened last year. It's like, oh my God, look at what happened for you. Like you went to Bali and then like for this little holiday, and now you're here for like 6+ months, like living your best life, traveling the world. It's like, I can't even imagine if we stayed with them. Oh my God. We wouldn't be us. We couldn't do the work. There would be so much missing out. And like, who would we be? Like, that would be our destination. When in reality, like, we have a bigger purpose than just attaching ourselves to someone that wants us to stay smaller. And
Mm.
I feel like with your work and like, even with your like poetry, it's like you couldn't even be able to write this because you didn't live it. And you have
Right.
to be able to live it in order to write it. And this is your truth, and also to heal from it and to give it to the world.
Yes, exactly that. Yeah, thank you for saying that. That's such a reminder of like, I needed to live. I needed to really live. There was something in me that was just like, come on. And I remember getting this hit years ago of this theme that said life in full color, living your life in full color. And I remember thinking like, I'm only however old I was. I just thought I haven't lived it yet. I need to live it. I need before I can tell anyone about it. I really need to do that. And boy, has it been colorful. So yeah, that really happened.
You went from like black to white to like full color, full emotion, full everything.
Yeah.
You had to turn it all on.
Yeah.
There was
Right.
this, oh no, I think it was my therapist. This was like a year ago. She's like, Helena, you have to turn it all on. Like you can't just feel one thing. When you hit that light switch, you're feeling everything. And it's like what you're saying is like you chose to be like, okay, we're gonna do the big brave thing, and you turned it all on. And now you had to feel everything. You had to live everything, the quote unquote the good feelings or the bad feelings. It's like everything was turned on. And I feel like there's so many people who sit here and they're like, okay, that was too much. Then they turn it off. And then they like go back to being smaller, or then they ignore it, or like they numb out. And I feel like our
Mm.
job as like coaches and like women is like and writers is to be like, no, it's not scary to feel it all. You should be feeling it all. Like you deserve to feel it all and let it all soak in. It's not good or bad, it just is. And I feel like you have just been like just this walking rainbow of like not only letting the world soak into you, but also giving it back. And I feel like that's such a huge thing where I want like so many women to feel that. And so like tell me like okay, like with writing for me it's so therapeutic and it helps me like turn everything on and to like release it into the world. For you, like tell me like when things are feeling scary and when you're trying to be brave and when you're trying to be so big, like what helps you get to that level of like I can feel it all and I can create it all.
Mm. Yes. I I would say I went through this time when during COVID when I was living in Bali in like depths of grief that I had never let myself feel before ever. And I was living by the ocean, just in communion with the ocean every day, which is where most of the poetry started to come through. And what helps me now is knowing that that was dark and so much magic came out of that place. So, like writing through it, allowing me myself to even romanticize my feelings in a way, or put them somewhere in an art expression, if that's writing or through singing or through sound or through dance or movement or listening to a beautiful song that like moves me, really feeling it and being in the dance of feeling my emotions and feeling how beautiful it is to be able to feel it all. Then from there, channeling that into my work or my sessions or sharing that with clients from a place of like, I get it. I've been there to the depths, and I can tell you with total embodiment, total honesty, total conviction that you can move through this, that you can shift this, that when you let yourself touch those places within you, you unlock a new level. You unlock, like, oh, I didn't know this door existed. This holds so much magic. But we can be so head focused on, like, it's got to look this way, it's got to be this way, the rigidity of the mind. By letting myself drop into my body and be with what's there, that is what helps me to create or to move through anything or to feel brave. Because if I know, no matter what happens, no matter what I experience, I'll be able to create something out of it, I'll be able to be with it, it'll make for a fun story one day, then that helps me keep being brave because I know I'll be able to handle it or do something with it.
I love that. It's like it gives you like the key to get to the next level. And
Yeah.
you can only go so high if you can go so low. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like you're thinking like, okay, what would the character, like the main character do? Like what would she do next? Like like this is gonna be like my life is gonna be the best movie ever. Like she has to go through some shit. She can't just be like riding on a high all the time. That's boring. Like no, we have to mix it up. We have to make mistakes. We have to like, burn it all down and then restart. Like that's how the movie gets juicy. And like for you, it's like you were by the ocean and Bali, you're grieving, and it's like you're writing poetry. Oh my God, on the ocean. Like, oh, that's so hot. Like, and you're just writing it and it's pouring out of you. And then it's all in a book that people can buy and transform their lives, all because you decided to say, yes, I want to feel it all so I can be it all. And even if it's grief and even if it feels so shitty, I have control over what I create with it. And that's so magical and juicy. And that, like, that right there, I'm like, everyone should be able to create that. And you just have to say, yes, I'm choosing to be brave and feel it. And what can I do with this? Like, what can I do with the grief? What can I do with the pain? Like, where can I put it in the world and actually give it to other people? And that's exactly what you did. And like, oh my God, like, and like during it, you're like, I'm gonna die. Like, this is death. Like, I'm literally dying. But like afterwards, it's like, no, you create this beautiful book and like, oh my God, and you're singing and like everything that you pour into it, it's like you could never have done this without being that low.
Never, never in a million years. I totally blocked off that whole side of me. I was just like, no, if I'm in business, I've got to do it this way and I've got to be like this. I just shut down this whole feminine expression essentially. I'd shut down all of that, my emotions, my depth, my everything that makes me a three, not 3D, whatever it's D, full bodied human. I'd really shut it down and I'd just become this like
Mhm.
nice, shiny, do the things
Mhm.
person. Not that anyone would have seen that, but it's how I felt inside. I was like, something's missing.
Mhm.
And this whole avalanche of feelings and emotions that I had no control over. It was just, I just couldn't stop for months. And I was like, well, okay, let's see what's here.
Mhm.
That experience as, whew, I want to say brutal. It was like being in a washing machine. But it moving with it was what was just so supportive and continues to be so supportive. And I trusted, I never knew that this was going to turn into a book. Like that wasn't even on the radar. I was just following whatever was coming through. And it wasn't until a couple of years later that I was like, ah, I've got a collection now somehow. I could do this. And actually, then that was how I knew it was coming from more of a soulful
Mhm.
place because it wasn't with any intention. I hadn't boxed it off with my
Yes.
strategic way until like the end when I needed to, like, oh, this is, we're creating something from this. But the creation process was so pure, which is what I love.
Yes. And I love that because like during it, it's like you're not thinking, okay, what am I gonna do with all this pain? Like, what am I gonna like? No, it's like you're just trying to survive. You're trying not to die. You're like, my human is dying. My soul, like, does nothing make sense right now. And I feel like we go through so many deaths in our life and like with relationships or jobs or like whatever, or just being a woman in general, where it's like, oh my God, this shit is hard, but so beautiful. And it's like we get to be so feminine and to be able to feel it all and to tap into that. And I felt like I was kind of like you, where I was black and white in business, where it's like I have to look this way and talk this way and
Mm.
sell this way. And like I have to be the nice girl in business. Like I have to be the nice girl. I have to put on the show and be the nice girl to help you grow your
Right.
business or to do the business this way. And like everyone is happy because I'm so nice. And I felt
Mm.
just like this doormat for years in business where I'm like, this isn't me. I'm just like literally giving people what they want to see. And like
Yeah.
it still aligns with like I'm helping them, but it's not like it's all about them. It's not about me. I'm just putting on a show because I thought I had to be nice. I thought I had to do it this way. And I feel like once you like break that, it's like you almost break your whole, I don't know, your foundation, you know? And it's like, oh my God, who am I in business without this strategy almost I've been using? And
Mm.
I was just talking to too. It's like this past year I had to burn a lot because I'm like, no, that was nice girl, Helena. I don't want to be nice girl. I want to be the girl who's wild and free and creates from her power. And like, I don't want to be nice. And you guys, it's not sexy to be nice. Like, don't be the nice girl. You're the doormat. That's what the nice girl is because you're just hoping that people walk on you. And like you're creating this space where it's like, okay, hopefully they like me. And if not, I'll say this and then this. And it's like so robotic and it's so gross. And you don't create anything special from that.
No, it's very, yeah, that one-dimensional feeling of like, okay, I'm showing up as this version of me and this person, and this is what I think people want, even if they're like, often people are craving what we're craving, which is the irony. We're putting on this show based on an ideal of what we think other people want from us, when really deep down they're like, oh my God, that, thank God she went there. Thank God she said that. Thank God she,
Yes.
yeah, is speaking to that or dared to say that thing that I was feeling or thinking, or she talks my language. That's what everyone's really craving and really looking for. And yeah, there's such a freedom when we can allow ourselves to believe that and to drop that mask and be like, oh, I'm embraced for this side of me. And yeah, of course, how so many people say, like a few years ago, I was writing poetry on a secret Instagram account because I was just like, no one's going to get it. They're going to think I'm silly. And now I'm like, my grandma's read a sex poem. And I'm like, oh my God, this is wild.
And she
And
loved it. That was my thing too. Like when I wrote my book, I'm like, oh my God, my grandma's gonna read this. And then grandma read it and she's like, I want more. And I'm like, Grandma. I'm like, oh my God. Like it's like people, they don't want you to be nice. They just want you to be you. Because the like other women, they're looking for someone to be that. Like they're looking for that. If they're not it, it's like, oh my God, like I wish I could be like her. I want this. And then it's like, you can be her. And like being nice, like that's just a front. It's not actually you. Your people want more than nice. They want you to be brave. And to be the nice girl, you're not being the brave girl. You're just like,
right,
you're just going, you're being reactive to like, what do people want and what did they think? And you're overthinking. Being the brave girl, you're burning shit, you're creating shit, you're burning shit, like you're dying, then you're re being reborn. Like you're doing this whole transformation and it's fun. And you get to be the main character instead of making everyone else the main character in your story.
yeah, so true. I love that.
Oh, so good. So good. Oh my God. Okay, I want you to read one of my favorite poems from you. Let me look. It's called Big, and I love it so much. And
Okay.
yeah, I mean, I have multiple. Oh my God, you guys need to buy her book. Like literally go into the show notes, get it. I swear. So good. But yeah, I love Big, and I want you to read it for us.
Okay, I can do that. Mm. Okay. Okay, okay, I'll face it. I'm way too big for this small town, way too bright for these grey faces, threatening to pull me down. There's sunshine I need to tend to, and a million beautiful places. Oh, life, I want to see them. I want to be free to be me, to love the way I want to love, and write my freedom into reality. I want to bathe in holy water, be at dinners where we talk about the moon, and whisper to the stars about that prayer that was answered too soon. Oh, fuck. I want to feel that breeze across my face in a sexy cocktail bar with poetry pouring through my veins. I'm ready to feel inspired again and to get out in the world. I'm ready to start my life again, God. A letter to my old one, let it burn.
Let it burn. Oh my God. I want you guys to write who are listening, like what would be your big life and just like write it down. This is why no. This is my bigness. This is how big I want to be and write it and it'll become true. Like you're writing it, you're creating it. That's your strategy. This is your like action plan is you writing it and then doing it and writing it and creating it and rewriting it and creating it. And I love the way that you write and your poetry, and it's all about her. It's about the woman and the grieving and the transformations and the truth. And yeah, I absolutely I hope you're like creating another book too, because I'm so excited and you guys literally
Yeah,
need to read this. Oh,
I totally am. Yeah, the next book is in process in it's happening. Yeah,
yes.
it's on. I'll tell you about it, what it's about, but another time.
I love it. Yes. Oh my gosh. Do you want to read us another one?
I would
What's
love
your
to.
favorite?
Oh, what's my favorite? I want to say I think Too Big for Her Boots is maybe my favorite.
Oh yes, I had that one bookmarked too.
Okay, great. All right. Okay, this is Too Big for Her Boots. She's getting too big for her boots, they say, hoping to shame, to keep her still, that her toes should curl up inside and squish so she can't walk too far. Except we all know the truth. The woman just needs some bigger fucking boots. Cowboy boots. The ones like she found in that flea market in Vienna, with tassels and sparkles on, the only ones there in her size, the perfect fit. She wants to be the kind of woman that says, I got them from a flea market in Vienna, darling. And so she says yes and wears them out of the store. And as she takes her steps into her brand new life, she finds herself walking amongst the people that say, I love the boots. And she replies with a giggle of glee, thank you. Aren't they fabulous? Made just for me from a flea market in Vienna. And they say, oh my God, how fancy. And she says, I know. And sees the glimmer in their eyes and knows they'll be treating themselves to something just for them too, very, very soon. And she keeps walking, dancing, making moves, leaving a trail of music in her footsteps, in those cowboy boots made just for her from that flea market in Vienna.
He just needs fucking bigger boots. Oh my God.
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe you
And
guys
that one
just
feels
need fucking bigger boots.
exactly. Yeah, we just need bigger boots. Don't need
Dude.
to try and fish. Just get some bigger boots. And I that was perfect because it just makes me think of you in your beautiful pink cowboy boots. And I'm like, yes. And me and my cowboy boots are waltzing around LA, like, yay! Yeah.
We just needed some pink cowgirl boots from the vintage store in Boise, Idaho.
Right,
That's
exactly.
all. We just need some new boots. You need a new man. You just need a new business. You need a new house. You need to go travel. That's all you need. Stop trying to smush
Really.
shit to make it fit. Honey, you're supposed to be big. You've outgrown the boots.
Yeah, that's it. And the beauty is that it can just start with one thing, like I knew, say, with the boots, for example, I knew I wanted to be a new version of myself. I didn't know who she was yet, but I was like, but I know she wears those boots. And it was just that like one thing that really literally helped me start walking as that woman. And then everything starts lining up. And yeah, there's just such a metaphor in that.
Oh,
You just can just choose that one thing and start, buy the boots, and then see what steps they take you on.
oh my God. I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight. I'm so jazzed up from this. And girl, I need to book a flight to see you. So good. Just buy the boots. So maybe like with the end of this podcast and ending it here, take Sophie's advice and go buy the boots, whatever those boots are, whatever they mean to you. And I feel like for me, I had to create like this alter ego of like, okay, what would big, brave Helena do? What would future Helena do? She would go buy the boots and she would buy them in pink and she would wear them and walk around LA and Malibu and she would just walk. She would just wherever she needed to go, the next step, she would take that step. And
Mm.
I love that. So, how can women find you? I'll put it in the show notes too, but give us the details so then they can connect with you as well.
Yes, I'd love to. So you can find me over on Instagram at sophiefrench.co. That is where I hang out. Also over on my website, sophiefrench.co. And yeah, and then there's a link to my book on Amazon if you search for Her by Sophie French.
Oh, amazing. Oh, well, it has been an honor to have you on the podcast, my dear. My God. And for you guys listening, like, she is magic. And I'm so glad that she was here to pour some magic onto you guys.